What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video. In this video, we are doing my Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 4 review. Now, this is another episode that was just kind of okay. Again, we're starting to get to that middle of the road of the season. You know, we're almost at that halfway mark. So I'm waiting for the season to kind of kick up a little bit, and it's really starting to have this thing again where like one episode is good one week, the next episode's mid, next episode's good, next episode's mid. I hope and pray that will teeter out for the rest of the season. We won't get any more of those mid episodes. Unfortunately, this was kind of another mid one. I don't think it was as mid as episode 2 was. I think this is definitely a better episode than episode 2, but not quite as good as 1 and 3. But it's fine. This is something you kind of have to expect. And if these last 3 episodes are as good as James Gunn says they are, then it should make up for a little bit of this lag time here in the beginning. So yeah, in normal fashion, we're going to go into the things that I liked and then get into the things I didn't. Let's get into it. So starting off with the things that I liked, I love the way that this episode started off. I liked how we got to see where this dimension unfolding chamber, whatever they call it, has actually come from. They still haven't really fully explained it. There's still some things, and just left the parts out is like for instance, how it got into the woods. Like this episode starts off obviously with a flashback of, Augie, Chris, and his brother going through the woods hunting. They shoot this fucking alien thing, and then all of a sudden they just see it in the woods. And Peacemaker picks up like this thing that kind of looks like his helmet, but it's clearly not. And we, I guess that's how they found it. This whole time we thought Augie just invented it, but nope. They just found it in the woods, which is cool, I guess, little explanation. And again, provided some backstory as to some important events that will go down later in this episode. So yeah, I thought it was pretty cool getting to start with a flashback. I like when episodes do that. I like getting to see flashbacks to anything, really. I'm a big flashback guy. I like prequels and flashbacks and shit like that. I've always been into that. I also... most of this episode is just kind of them almost breaking into Peacemaker's house. So we get to see a lot of John Economos and Judo Master and Langston Flurry. Their interactions are just so funny. So all that comedicness and is all carries over to this episode. And then we get their interactions are just so funny. Like just John Economos saying how he wish he had killed Judo Master, and he wishes his body was with him at all times so he could be proud of his win, is what he calls it. And more of the bird blindness jokes that are just gone completely viral. So many of the great jokes have come back, and again, Judo Master is as funny as ever. His weird, like zesty, like mannerisms and the way he speaks is just so fucking funny. There's just it's just all that stuff that we love about Peacemaker. Of course it was here, right? So that's always great to have, to be back or whatever. I like that we got to see some more of Rick Flag. I think he has been in this season nowhere near enough as he should. I think he's really going to be in the rest of these episodes a lot. But I don't even think he was in 2 of the 4 episodes we've gotten so far, which is crazy. So I'm hoping he sticks around, because the whole premise of this season is that him and he's going after Peacemaker, right? And again, it feels like we're finally starting to kick the things into gear, and we're starting to get somewhere. Because we only have 6 episodes left, which is still a decent amount. Don't get me wrong, but. So yeah, it was nice to see him again. Again, I like how they're starting to get somewhere with the story. They're starting to turn all Peacemaker's allies against them, like John Economos and Hardcourt, and really the only ones who have his back fully are Vigilante and why am I forgetting her name? Leota Adebayo. I always forget her name. It's just such a outlandish name. It's just so hard to remember it. I suck with names. I always forget names. But yeah, those two are like the only people who really have his back still. And then at the end of the episode, we got to see the bird catcher or whatever the fuck. He's like in the woods doing some weird psychedelic shit with his blood, and he's like tracking down Eagly, and he apparently found out where Peacemaker's at in his grandfather's cabin where we saw him put the unfolding chamber or whatever. So yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot to report on this episode, and this is going to go into the things that I'm disliking. Not even just about this episode, but about the season so far, which I'm going to get into. But there's just not much, there's not a lot going on in these episodes. And again, I'll explain why, but yeah, for the most part, this was just an okay episode. It's nothing crazy, not like last week's episode. Last week's episode was fantastic. This episode was just okay. It was kind of like episode 2 was. It was just, it was okay. But yeah, again, that doesn't mean I didn't like it. That doesn't mean I'm not liking the season. I'm enjoying it. Again, it's been a fun watch, and again, I really think, especially in those last 3 episodes, this season is just going to kick into high gear and hopefully be better than the first season. So, yeah, now I'm going to get into the things that I disliked. All right, so I think my main issue with not only this episode but this season, like I said earlier, is these episodes are just way too fucking short. Way too short. They're like 40-minute episodes, and that 40 minutes feels like it goes by in 15. Like, these episodes just go by like that. And it feels like just almost nothing is happening in them. And I know that's a season complaint, not an episode complaint, but you really feel it in this episode. I felt like this episode was literally 15 minutes. Like, I felt like it was over like that. Again, it just felt like not a whole lot was going on. And that is my biggest issue with this season right now. Is just, again, these episodes feel so short. Feels like we're speeding through them, which sucks too, because it doesn't give us the opportunity to kind of soak it all in, because it's just going so fast. But yeah, aside from that, I think my only other kind of complaint with this episode is I think they lean a little too much into the kind of the child jokes. Like, obviously it's that James Gunn humor, but I think they get a little silly at times. And a little just outlandish, like John Economos pretending to hack the thing, and he's sitting there, he's like, "Oh, I heard a cat. Should we go check on that cat?" It's like, this is 5-year-old humor. It's not really funny. Now obviously stuff with Peacemaker and Vigilante, that more adult humor, that's fucking hilarious. But this child humor, it's like, how old does James Gunn think we are? Not the biggest fan of that stuff. Now, a lot of people would argue that it was in Peacemaker Season 1 and Superman. It really wasn't. Not child humor like this. Again, the great humor is still there. It's just, I thought they dipped into the child humor a little bit too much. But aside from that, I didn't really have any other major complaints with this episode. Like I said, it was just kind of the middle of the road episode. It was just okay. Not a whole lot to take in. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, make sure to drop a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.